Hi everyone, this is the unboxing of a Brinly 48-inch Dethatcher. Let's see what's in the box. That's the first panel, Brinly. With these two bars, the Dethatcher spikes. The wheels. Two rods, I'm not sure what these are for. All to be revealed. Okay, a bunch of parts in here. And these three is an assorted bunch of nuts, bolts. Yeah. There's a piece in there. And this is the pen with the quarter pin. Then lastly, you have the manuals. So register. Let's see what else is in here. That's a picture of the Dethatcher. Owner's manual. What is this? And product registration in several languages. Okay, let me put this thing together and see how it operates. Okay, from what I've determined, it seems as if some of the bolts, some of the nuts that are meant to go with these bolts are actually in the other package. One thing to note is that they provide you with two sizes of washer. This is the one that's meant to go on the spikes, so that is the smaller one. So this one is for something else. Okay, just go calculate. Here is the most effective way to put in the nuts and bolts. They're a little bit annoying. So once you have the bolt in there, what I've done is I've inserted most of the bolts inside already. Just take your washers, put them in there. Put your washers inside. Just put your nut inside. Take your spikes and just put them in there. Just try to keep them in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the nuts, the washers and nuts in place, and then I'm just going to come around and put the spikes. Okay, I've got my washers and bolts inside and nuts, so I just go in, put the spikes, okay, I'm just going to fool around with the spanner and tighten up everything up. Okay, the next part of the install is to put this rod in. So we just put it in through the loops. see the coil. Basically, this is a safety. All it does is make sure that if your coil comes out, if your spikes come out, they will not fall on the ground and cause damage elsewhere. So you bend them, make sure I got enough on the other side, bend them up, don't injure yourself. And a little bit more. Okay, so I'll do the same to the other side and put the top bar as well. So the next step is to take these brackets, move them up in here, these two holes. So what you do is you take the 1-inch nuts you've been using, 1-inch bolts you've been using all along, and put them in here, and hope they will stay in place. Then you take your locking washers, and then your bolts. Just one curious thing, the nut that goes under this bolt is very close to the coil, so it's a little tricky to put in. So I had to lift the nut up a little bit, put in I had to lift in the bolt, put in the nut, so everything's in place. So I'm going to tighten them later. Okay, next thing to take care of, we got these two brackets. What we're going to do is we're going to put one under, one over, and then we're going to tighten them with these 2-inch long bolts with the same nuts and the same lock washers that we've been using all along. So put that under. Put that over. Put the washer and put the bolt. I know it's getting dark, so you can't quite see what's happening. This is much better, so you can see how this is. These bars are not attached to this bar over here through any holes. So it's purely by clamping force that they are attached. So the last bit to this is the pin itself. So this is the pin, got the quarter pin, so that goes through here, and that will attach to your lawn tractor. So just to show you how it looks on the other side. I really like that they use the same size bolt and nuts and washers for many of their parts. That makes installation very easy. So the next part to install is this, and from the diagram I can see that this should be the same angle as the bend at the front. So as usual, just put your bolt through, put your locking washer, and put your nut. Right now I'm just hand tightening. At a later stage I'll come with a spanner and tighten everything properly. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install these side panels. These do not go on top, they actually go under the top plate. Then what you do is you put this nut on top, you put the locking washer underneath, and then finally you secure everything with the bolt. So put that in there and just hand tighten the bolt. Okay, the next step is to attach these bars for the wheels. So get our trusty bolts, the locking washers, and a couple of nuts. So these go, the bolts go in there. Put the bar. Then add the locking nuts, locking washers. Okay, once that's done, then you can attach the wheels. So these ones will be attached using these large bolts. 2 washers. 2 of the large washers. There's a nut that's involved. And another nut. Okay, so it seems as if the way the wheel goes in is the bolt goes into a washer that goes through the wheel, that goes through another nut. That goes through a washer, goes through a nut, so you got a washer on each side. Got this nut, so that goes through here, and then you add a final nut on this other side. Just one note, I noticed that there are these locking washers that are in the box, and I believe that they actually go in here. They're not shown in the instructions, but I believe that's where they should be used. So that should keep the wheel from coming loose. So let me just go ahead and tighten everything. That is pretty much the final step before we actually get to adjusting the height of the dethatcher so that it works properly. Okay, here are the final steps of setting your dethatcher. Loosen up these bolts, these 2 over here, and loosen up these bolts as well. Set it on top of the 1/2-inch board. In this case I'm using 1/2-inch drywall. So of course attach the dethatcher to your lawn tractor. Okay, once everything is set in place, then just tighten up the bolts. And once you've tightened them up, everything is set in place and it should be ready for detaching.